PFAS, otherwise known as forever chemicals, to those of us who have no degree in science and have no idea how to say PFAS without using the acronym PFAS. Thanks for watching the show. I really appreciate your time. Even just like these 5 to 6 minutes so helps out the channel. And again, thanks a lot for watching. And so I want to talk about PFAS and what are PFAS, first of all. If you haven't heard of PFAS yet, it's probably because, well, we don't talk about it a whole lot here in this country in terms of its negative implications. And so let's start there. PFAS are forever chemicals. Now, these forever chemicals range from a number of different scientific specific things to just understanding that forever chemicals are extremely bad for human consumption and all living animal life consumption. And so the Environmental Protection Agency, to kind of put this into perspective, and links in the description below, have publicly stated through formal declaration that they recognize the permeance or the purveyance of PFAS, not just domestically, but worldwide. So it's not a stretch to say that there's literally not very much clean water publicly accessible on this planet, right? And that's pretty dangerous, actually. That's pretty scary to know that chemical companies such as Dow and DuPont and other companies, like other corporations like this, have made it so that the entire world's water supply is technically contaminated, not just essentially, but quite literally technically. And so there's also a link in the description below to where all of the most severe states are with levels that have been measured as it directs to PFAS. So on record, the biggest state with the highest level of contaminated water is Michigan. Now, irony is just kind of sometimes one of those things, right? And I am a huge fan of Michigan, all the sports teams, all of the culture, all of these things, all of my favorite rapper, all of these kinds of cool things, right, have come from Michigan. And so what also has come from Michigan that not a lot of people talk about are like Flint, Michigan, with the water crisis and everything, which was just in recent memory. Now, again, to kind of put that into perspective, Michigan has and continues to be the state with the highest level of PFAS detection in the entire country. This isn't good for their local populace. It's linked to cancer. It's linked to a number of different diseases, both that affect people mentally and physically. And so PFAS are extremely bad, and Michigan is the worst of all of us in the United States. Other states are California, Ohio, Florida, Alabama, Washington, Maryland, New Jersey, and Massachusetts. These have all been identified as the super toxic sites. Now, it's interesting to know, and the EPA has also drawn this conclusion, although I laugh because, you know, the government just blows my mind sometimes as far as like overt transparency through, you know, simple phrases or whatever. But also, according to the EPA, there are military bases, notably within the confines of all of those highly industrialized cities and such. Now, it scares me because I live here in New Mexico, and a few things about New Mexico, right? Birthplace of the nuclear bomb. We have a large site in southern New Mexico to dispose, one of the only sites in the country to legally be able to dispose of hazardous waste, right? That's a thing here too. Plus, we have like the South Mountain Missile Range and Kirtland Air Force Base, and yeah, so, you know, and Intel and Sandia, you know, all of these worldwide corporations that conduct business here in my good old hometown of Albuquerque, you know, specifically, and not just New Mexico. But ironically, my roommate and I live within observable distance to an Intel. So my own experience with the local water table here has been nothing short of uh, surprise, I'd say, because here in this particular home, we've not been able to drink the tap water or groundwater from the tap ever since we moved here. And I laugh because it's funny because we're told that the water table's clean. There's a water treatment plant here too within the few miles of where our house is too, and so there's always that. But every time we test the water for PFAS, it is extremely high. I mean, the threshold is, I think, 0.06 parts per million. That's kind of, if anything higher than that is considered to be toxic. And sometimes our water is drawing, like, no joke, like 7 point something. Like, I'm not like a math guy, but I know that when the threshold is 0.06, and I'll test the water or whatever, and it's creeping up, towards double digits. Every part of my common sense and stuff tells me, stay away from that water, because it can quite literally uh, do some bad stuff, right? And so I encourage all of you to test your own water at home, just to see where you're at. And also check the links in the description below to see if your state is one of the states that have high levels of PFAS contamination. And just keep your eyes open and your head up, in terms of recognizing that PFAS can cause long-lasting permanent damage, and it's really best to just really try to stay away from.